Drive safe. Okay, let's get started while people are still coming in. So, good morning. This bright and beautiful, cold and rainy, some parts of the country, wherever you are, maybe. In the Bay Area, we've been freezing our butt a little bit, but it's all good. No complaint in the Bay Area. I cannot speak for other parts of the country. So wherever you come in from, welcome to our Monday morning training. And we have a pretty packed agenda. And you guys are in for a awesome treat today. Okay, my name is John Chan. I'm one of the SMDs under the leadership of Jacky Tam and Penny Oy. And today we're going to teach you really the needed skill on how do you close the deal when you face a potential client or even existing client. You can close them again, right? So Jacky is going to talk about a lot of good skills and nuggets for you guys to take home and go practice afterwards. And I will go into some case study after that, and then we will do a little breakout so you guys can talk about it and discuss about it and put it to practice. And then Jacky will come back and close the meeting for us. All right. So without further delay, let's welcome our super leader, the most handsome man still in San Francisco, soon to be occupying Redwood Shores, Redwood City area, bar none, right? So let's welcome Jacky Tam.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody. Well, I can name everybody, but good morning, Sandra, Lily, Manna, and Marilyn, and many of you. Monday, wow, that's another new week and great week, right? And then it's the starting of the December, right? I'm not sure about you, but December is a very special month, and we definitely celebrate that. Our for my faith is Jesus Christ and come to earth, and that is a wonderful month, right? So joy to the world, and also for our business too. Okay, I just want to tell you, December could be a big month for some of you, right? So let's get right into it. So today I want to share with you about objection handling and how to close the deal. You know, basically close the deal with what's it called? 1, 2, 3 to close. How about that, huh? So if you are even a driving or whatever, my style is you will understand it simply. I make it simple, easy to grab, right? So hopefully you'll get what I'm trying to tell you. Let me share it first. Hold on, real quick here. Yep. Yeah, I assume all of you are, you know, going out to the field every single day, and you definitely will or already did, you know, face some objections, right? So objection handling and how to close. It's not about how wonderful you present or how great you present, it's how to close that counts, right? So we always, of course, you're not helping the family if you don't close. Okay, think about this statement, right? Of course, we're not like sell, but think about it. If you're not closing, you're not basically helping them, because after your presentation, they will forget half of it, right? After you left the door, if you know, right after finish the Zoom, right? And so that's why, like, you need to grab a little bit more on that. Okay, objection handling. I put in 3 common objections. 3 common objections. Cost is too high. Buy term and invest the different. Why do I have to buy IUL, right? Specifically, where I can buy term life insurance and invest the different. Roth IRA also has the tax advantage. Why do I have to buy IUL, right? Where I pay the cost of insurance, okay? So number one, cost is high. What is the cost? See, anything talk about cost is with, well, how to say it, with relative compared to what, right? If I would tell you, hey, Mr. Client, if I tell you, you can get a brand new car for $50,000, and then you will say, wow, it's too high. Price is too high. Now, the question is compared to what, right? If I tell you $50,000, you buy a Honda Civic, that would be pretty expensive, pretty high, right? But if I tell you the 50,000, you are buying a brand new Ferrari, how about that? That will be very cheap. Is that right? So cost is relevant. So what will be the cost, and the thing will be based on how you present to them and make them understand it. Okay, so you have to, I like to always use the T-bar strategy or T-bar presentation to close. One side will be the need. What do you need? What do you have and what you don't have, right? We put it in what you don't have. The other side, on the right hand side, after my presentation, will be the strategy. What will be the one I recommend, and what will be the benefit of it, right? So it's always cost and benefit as well. So how much it costs you, but you have to see on the other side how much you could get for that cost, right? Yes, cost, you have to pay life insurance, but what you're buying tax advantage on the IUL on the other side, on your saving portion, okay? Minimize the risk because it will guarantee you will not lose your principal. Depends on what company that you buy. I mean, I would say all of them in the IUL will be guaranteed 0 or up, right? And Transamerica will be 0.75% minimum, right? The other one will be, most of them are 0% minimum. And that will be the cost, right? Now, here we go. 3 basic life insurance rules. Okay, this is always true, you know, until today. I learned this, well, you talk about 20 years ago. I still remember that was a Swan Wynn was talking about it. It's still true and still applicable. Still, I still use it many times. Okay, number one, insurance costs always go up. As your age go up, your life insurance cost will go up. Does that make sense, right? You ask them. And yes, that's definitely. Number two, every life insurance program is term life. Depends on how you pay for it. Now, what does that mean? That means if you buy IUL, in fact, it's a term life plus saving portion or some other features, right? And got it? And also the term life, how you pay for that term. What does that term life insurance mean? Like health insurance, like dental insurance. You pay, they cover you. You don't pay, they will not cover you. So if you buy IUL, it's a term life, but you pay the term life by your premium, part of your premium you pay, or if you don't, or you stop paying the premium, which is you could down the road, and then you will use the cash value to pay for the term life insurance cost. Make sense? So every life insurance or term life. Number three, here we go. There is no free lunch. You have to pay the cost as long as you live, as long as you keep the policy. What does that mean? So the IUL or whole life, or it applied to all that. VUL, you know, you talk about it. There's no free lunch. Some people, many of them actually misunderstood. They thought, oh, I want to buy those. I only pay for 20 years. I only pay for 15 years, which is some program allow you to do that, including whole life, universal life, IUL, VUL. Yes, they could allow you to do that. However, same thing. The insurance costs always go up inside the program, IUL, if you call it. every life insurance is term, meaning you have to, pay for it. And then there's no free lunch, meaning that even you stop paying that after 15 years or 20 years, they still charge you cost of insurance. You got that? But you don't see it because your cash value pay for it. Now, I hope you get these 3 basic life insurance rules. Very important. When you explain to your client, to me, my experience is they got it. They got it. That save you a lot of objection handling time because, oh, okay, now I understood. I could pay more or longer or less or shorter period of time. Yep, they got it after they understood this 3. Okay, I hope you have that. Now, another thing is you tell them about the benefit, showing illustration. You can show illustration to close, to handle objection. If you present it right, meaning like clear and simple, understandable, you minimize the objections handling. Okay. For example, this is a person that buying $500,000, right? 40 years old, and $500,000. The target premium is 6020, 6020. Okay. And you basically put in the target, not much, not more, and then look at that when you pay, and you look at the number here. Let me see here. Okay, hold on. Yeah, 10 years later. Okay, 10 years later, totally right. I circle it, not really obvious. 10 years later, you put in totally 60,200, and you compare to the policy value. Now, if you talk about the cost is too high, hey, think about it, Mr. Klein. You pay 10 years, 60,000, and they cover you for $500,000. Anytime with this 10 years, they will pay you, your family, $500,000 tax-free money, right? Income tax-free money. And yet you still have $52,000 cash value, which you could use portion of it, right? It's your money, 52,000. Now, if you count on the, as far as the cost concern, you paid 60,000 for life insurance. After 10 years, your net cost for the life insurance is actually how much? Less than $8,000. Isn't it true? Because you pay 60,000, now you have 52,000 in your account. That means 8,000 for the last 10 years of your cost of insurance. Of course, it's included your earning of your money, okay? But guess what? That alone, 8,000 divided by 10 years, average, you are paying $800 per year for your $500,000 life insurance. Is it pretty cheap in terms of buying life insurance in a sense for 10 years? Of course, this thing is for long term, right? Life insurance is like you don't know when you'll be gone. But then how about 20 years later? 20 years later, 60 years old, you totally paying 120,000. But guess what? You have 173,000. You have even more money than you put in because of the saving portions, interest earning. Now, here's the point I want to make. 20 years, you pay 120,000. Now you have 173,000. Isn't it true, quote unquote, you get free of charge life insurance? It's indeed, it is. Is that correct? You put in 120, now you have 175. That is how you handle the objection of cost is too high. How high is this? Free of charge, right? How about 30 years later, you pay 180 and then you have $389,000 in there. You pay the same thing, 6,000, portion of it go to cost of insurance, right? I'm talking about the premium they're paying every year. And then, you know, the rest go to savings. You got me? So that will be the way that you want to handle the objection of a cost of too high. Just show them. Now, what is the clue in here? I mean, what is the major critical element here? Long term. You can get it for short term. Short term, you buy term life insurance. Is it okay to buy term life insurance? Of course, right? That is the closing skill that I want to show you later about 1, 2, 3, right? One of them is you got to know what they want, not what you want to sell them. You got it? All right. So next one, how about 50 years later? you put in 300,000, but you have 1.4 million. That is a big deal. Wow. And the $1.4 million is totally tax-free if you do it right, meaning take it out as a specially, take it out specially, you know, through the life insurance program, which is loan provision, right? Then you don't have to go into that because you want to pinpoint one at a time for their objection. Okay. Now, of course, during the presentation, you should already take care many of the objection already. But at the end, if they still have the objection, particularly like, oh, cost is too high. Okay, then you do it and then you move on to close already. All right. So now another way, here we go about the cost. You can say, hey, what is the cost? What's the charges? Actually, they will, you know, charge me. It's okay for some time that you will, you know, in the to show them the cost and the value tab. All right. When you run the illustration, I show you the non-guarantee earlier, the summary. Sorry, the last one, summary. I just showed you earlier. But then you can show them the cost if they are more like analytical, like engineer type, right? Or very detailed. They want to exactly how much they charge me every single year. Here we go. 6,000 you put in premium expense. They will charge it upfront right there. Okay. 2.5% premium tax. And then the rest will be the sales charge, which is for the company to collect the tax to the government. Of course, they impose to consumer like you, okay, or like you and I, okay, I would say that. And then that will be taken out, which is just normal charge. Now, the cost of insurance actually is $73, but of course, they have some other charge. I have no problem to explain to them each by each. It's okay. You don't have to hide or embarrass or to tell them about it. Here's the thing. Here's the factor, is very important factor. Another one is index charge, right? Which is, you know, charged so that they will guarantee the cap of the rate. Okay. Now, like Transamerica, they just changed it to 13% in the global index, but for longest time, they are the last one who change it. Yes, they will change it. You tell them up front at the presentation. Maximum 15%, but now change it to 13%. But for longest time, yep, they could. Every company have the right to change it. But this one charge is prolonged, just like what happened. They are the last one to change the rate to 13%. And you pay some of them 0.06% per month. So that means 0.72% per year. Okay, to be specific. If you know, if you want to know it. PUC, per unit charge. Per unit charge. What is unit? You buy life insurance per unit. Like $1,000 will be 1 unit. If you buy $500,000, that means 500,000. That means you buy 500 units of life insurance. Got it? So per unit charge. So they have a factor in the policy to pay you, not pay you, charge you from your premium per unit charge. You buy $1 million life insurance, how many units they're going to charge? 1,000 units times the factor. That will be the one that you are seeing right here, 1740. Okay, so that's per unit charge. And then rider charge, which is long-term care. Long-term care charge, $165 per year. Is it okay? Absolutely. Policy fee, right there. Okay, policy fee will be a policy fee charged by the life insurance company. You don't have to explain that much. What does that mean? I explain further is, hey, when you want to change your ownership, change your beneficiary, no charge, because they charge you, you know, regardless, just for the administration thing. So totally, you are talking about, you charge will be the one that I show you in a bigger picture earlier. But if you want to be specifically, for example, like 10th year, at the 10th year, and this is totally that they will charge you in that year. But you know what? Don't forget to talk about the right-hand side. Remember the benefit. This is the cost on your left-hand side, the T-bar, right? The right-hand side is 3,800. Your cash value earned $3,800. That is pretty good. That's what you want to look at it as well. It's more than the total charges that you pay. What about 20 years later? That year specifically, they charge about what? Ballpark 13, 14,000, 2,400, maybe 2,500, maybe $3,000 right here, 20 years, right? At your age 60, maybe $3,000 that year they charge, but you earn how much? $12,000, Mr. Klein. That is the cost and the benefit different. Now, does that make sense? That is very simple and make a lot of sense to them and clearly too, you know? So that is how I do it sometime. 80 years old, 40 years later, right? We jump it just for the sake of comparison and have an idea. You pay about, whoa, you look at when you're 80 years old, the cost of insurance is 7,600, and then plus the IAMC, that was based on your cash value, okay, 0.72%, and then that will be, whoa, $12,000 plus this and plus that, maybe $13,000 or $14,000 that year. But guess what? You make 52,000, 52, right? So, and that's tax-free money over there. 90 years old, right? Just go extreme a little bit. And then you pay that, whoa, 11,000, 20,000. You pay $23,000 at that year, but you make 100,000. Would you exchange that, Mr. Klein? If you do not put in this life insurance, you don't pay the $13,000, no, sorry, $23,000 for your cost of insurance, but you pay tax on your 100,000. Isn't it true? If you earn 100,000, you pay 30%, that's 30,000 already. If you're outside of this program, and plus you do not have the life insurance coverage. So you need to see what the cost will give you the benefit. Another one real quick, right? You go into it. Instead of paying $6,000 per year for a long time, you pay $16,000, which is the maximum per year premium, right? What we call the 7 paid. If you have the money sitting in the bank, and then this one could be an alternative to put in more, right? But please remember, it's for long term. It may not be available in the beginning. Look at that. First year, 14,000, you only have 1,900 available for you to use. 5 years later, better, 80,000, then you have 69,000 available. So point it out so they won't ask you, or they won't later on question you and say, hey, you know, you told me I can take out, that will be the one handle that objection already. When I can take it out, that will show you in the surrender value column. All right. Now, 9 years or 10 years later, then you have pay 144,000. I should have put in 10 years, 160,000 at 10 years. And then you have 194,000. Look at that. If you pay upfront, front end loaded, 10 years later, you will break even, and also more than just break even. You have more cash value than your cost that you put in totally, right? Because you pay upfront. How about 20 years, you stop, right? Now, many people say, hey, they want to stop at certain years. Yes, you can stop at 20 years, 320,000, but you got 589,000 in your account. You can use 100% of it. Of course, if you use 100% of it, you lose the life insurance. Of course, you don't want to do that, but you can, take out up to 100% of it. No penalty. Yeah. Okay. What about further? You don't pay any more. That's the point I want to make. You don't pay any more after 20 years, 90 years old, you're still paying to 320,000 total, but you have policy value 3.3 million. And if you have if something happened to you, the 3.3 million plus the whatever the life insurance cost, life insurance amount, sorry, and then $3.9 million will go to your beneficiary, income tax free. How much you totally put in? 320,000. I hope you get it, right? Do I make my point clear? We don't have to go to 100 years old on that, right? And then the cost, same thing, same idea. You put it in 10-year, totally. How much you pay? Well, maybe what, 2,000, 3,000, about $3,500 a year, but you make 14,000 that year. 20 years later, whoa, you pay a lot more the cost of insurance on your cost, but guess what? You make $42,000 at that year. So that will be good deal to me because I pay this, but I get a lot back, a lot more back, right? I pay about what, 13,000 or 15,000 if you call it, right? But I make 79,000. That's the thing, okay? Now that's cost is too high or so. Buy term and invest the different. Okay, here is what I always like to draw it. Okay, well, if I have $10,000, I put in buy term and invest the different into like whatever mutual fund or stock market or so, right? Instead of putting into IUL. I would say this: if you're 45 years old, whatever it is, right? Of course, this one will work best on the about 40 to 50 years old, all right? 45 years old for 10,000. Oh, if you are investing into let's say giving you 8%, okay, 8%. Every 9 years, your money double, okay? Every 9 years, your money double. I would draw it 72 divided by 8. Every 9 years, your money double. 45, you go to 53, 60, no, sorry, 54, 63, and then 72, you double and every single 9 years. Yeah, you follow me? So I calculate and draw it with them together so he or she can see it. 81 years old, you have 160,000. Awesome, right? However, you have to pay tax on it. Depends on where you pay. Let's say you put into a taxable place, then you pay tax every year. Then you don't double it in 9 years because you have to shrink by the tax that you pay every year. But if you put into tax later, and that will end up at the end, you have to pay 30% at the end when you take it out, right? So that end up about 112,000. What about if I put in $10,000 into IUL? 10,000 minus my cost. This particular $8,000, just one time, right? We're not talking about every year you put in 10,000. Just this particular 8,000 will be doubled at 16,000. Will be doubled at 32,000. You follow me? No tax, no take it out, no shrinking, and then 64, and then 128. Which one is more? At the time of 81 years old, I got more money from that $10,000 on the 128,000 versus 112,000. And plus, I can use it, take it out in between if I want to. Make sense? That is buy term and invest the different. And it's, no. I still like to. What about I buy term and then invest in a Roth IRA? It's better, or Roth 401k. You know what? I'm not gonna argue with them. I would say if that is the case, right? I would say, Mr. Kai, why don't you have both? Why don't you buy a term? I help you to open a Roth IRA, and then I help you to open an IUL as well. Then I shift to the other a way of closing it. What is the other way? Is you can have it all. It's not either or. You know, understand what I'm talking about? So be flexible. You don't want to just impose rigidly, you know, oh, you have to buy IUL. IUL is the best. That is the only one. No, we're not saying that. We are neutral. Remember, we will present the client to pick and choose the best for them or most suitable for them. If they are convinced on this, sell them an IUL. If they're not, sell them a term and the different. Got me? All right. So that's the one. Okay. Now, Roth IRA. Now, I always like to use the pros and cons. I'm not objecting them. I'm not challenging them. If they say, why don't I buy Roth IRA? Okay, that's great. You know, but that's another way maybe you can consider, which is IUL, right? And then let me show you the T-bar. What is the pros and cons of it? Number one, tax-free growth for retirement. And then, may withdraw your principal, which is your contribution. Okay, that's a good thing about it. And then the cons will be what? Retirement income after 59 and a half. The gain portion, you have to take it out after 59 and a half, right? Then there's a little bit restriction, right? Restrictive, may not access to the gain before retirement age, right? That is nothing wrong with it, but it's just good and bad, pros and cons. That's all, Mr. Klein. That's all I want to show you. Now, on the other hand, the IUL that I just presented to you, what is pros and cons? Number one, tax advantage growth. Hey, same thing as the Roth IRA, isn't it true? And then flexible contribution, not limited to $6,000 or $7,000, but you can put more than that. And then flexible distribution, you can take it out anytime, basically including the gain. How about that? Yeah, it is true. And then tax-free death benefit. If something happened to you, you have life insurance and, but what's the cost? What's the con? The con will be paid cost of insurance. Yes, it's no free lunch. Remember I told you, all right, you have to pay for the cost, but you have the pros on the left-hand side. That's all. I mean, depends on which one you like. Okay, here we go. Now, this one, I don't want to go to that much, right? You show them about the umbrella, protect this and that, right? But I want to show you closing 1, 2, 3. This is the more important for today, okay? Here we go. Number one, they know you. They have to know you. That's why in the beginning it's very important. Chit-chatting, 5 to 10 minutes, get to know them and get them to know you, who we are, right? I mean, Connie, I'm a very nice person. You show them that you are very sincere, nice person. Today, I'm here to help you. I'm here representing the company that representing you, not representing those provider that we represent. Got it? Meaning that it's based on your best interest. Now, they need to know you. We are very neutral. We don't sell one company only. We represent a lot. That's why you can trust us. We base on your interest rather than the insurance company or investment company interest. Number two, you need to know them by asking questions when you present. Ask them question. Hey, how you like, scale 1 to 10, how much you would rate yourself, how well that you plan for your retirement, how well you plan for your protection. Ask question, and then maybe a little bit deeper, layering, meaning like in depth a little bit, to ask them a little bit more question. When you know them, right? When they know you and you know them, basically you close 80% plus already. Yep, that's my experience. That's why my closing rate is 100%. My closing rate, right? Because I only count the people that I help and close the account, So that's how confident I am, okay? Because I really feel like I'm helping them, okay? You know them. After you know them, you know what they want. Yeah. Number three, more important, right? 1, 2, 3. What they want is more important than what you want to sell them. What they want may be different than what they need. You got me? What they want may not be the same as what they need, because we present to them, we know them, and we know exactly what they need. Okay, they need IUL and they can afford it. Yep, they can afford it. They have a ton of money in the bank, right? But they just don't get it, and they just don't, feel like, right? They just, maybe after you explain, whatever, they still believe, I want term. I want to buy term, right? Term life insurance. Guess what? You go with what they want. You go with what they want. You can come back and go back to what they need. Make sense? You always want to go with what they want after you explain to them. Cost is relative, right? And then women help them to make decision. Your job is to help them to make decision, not to impose or dictate what they need to buy. Got it? So win-win situation. Always think win-win. They can have it all. As I said earlier, if they say, I think term is better. I said, good. Hey, let's get a term first. Or what about another thought? What about you get a term? You need about $2 million life insurance. Why don't you get $1.5 million term and then $500,000 IUL to start with? How about that? That's a win-win situation. Have it all. And then cost is relative, right? Use that. Remember that. Help them to make decisions. That's your job. That's our job. That's it. It's not about what we want them to get. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I pass the stage to John, that he will show you some case study. Okay, real quick. All right. So let's welcome John. John actually has been with us for what? More than 11 years. More than 11 years. Super experienced field trainer. He helped a lot of my team and also other team as well, in Penny's team, you know, field training and all that. One of the best closer out there, experienced, knowledgeable, you name it. All right. So let's welcome Mr. John Chen.
All right, Jacky. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I hope you guys got a lot of good nuggets out of it. And I see some of you taking notes actively. You know who's going to win in this business, right? Those that learn the stuff and go out and practice with it, right? So I'm going to go through a couple cases with you guys, and I want your active participation if possible. Whether you can talk or put on chat, whatever you could, I appreciate it. And these are actual cases, right? They are not fake ones. I didn't make them up. So these are the actual people that I met with recently. Okay, here's the first case. Here's the setup. I'm going to give you the setup, and I'm going to ask you to provide your recommended solution, if possible, looking at the information I give, and we can go from there. And then the second case is not closed. This one is closed, right? And while closing has many steps, right? Because we have an array of products and services to offer to our customer and potential clients, right? And here's a couple that I sat down with. Very, very nice couple who are in their 70s, right? Now, you think these people are, there's not much you could do. Actually, there are a lot you could do with the more mature audience, right? This couple come to us. The wife is 1 year older than the husband. The husband relatively is in really good health and no health issue whatsoever. He owns a company, and the company, he's the president, so he can be active, he can be passive, but lo and behold, still generating about $200,000 cash flow from the business that he runs. So obviously, very successful man in his career, and fluent in English, fluent in Chinese, whatnot. So when we sat down with them, he mentioned that he has multiple IRAs. Now, first light bulb should pop up already, right? And you might be hungry for all of the IRAs, but you don't have to, right? So, and then he disclosed one of his IRA with about $400,000. And I asked Mr. Client here, I said, how are you going to use the money? He said, well, I really don't really need it. I don't have any plan for it. Maybe pass down to the kids. They have 2 sons together. And unfortunately, the wife, on the other hand, is 1 year older, but in her early stage of Alzheimer's. So obviously, she goes everywhere with her, with him, with the husband. And the husband would not leave her alone, right? When you have Alzheimer's, you might get lost. So there are many things that you need to worry about if that's the case. So first thing popped into my head is that the wife probably no longer qualify for any life insurance or long-term care with that situation, because it's a cognitive impairment, right? So, but they have a net worth about $4 million. And then we go a little deeper, and I find out that they already have a living trust set up. And fundamentally, they are in very, very good shape. No need to worry about money for the rest of their life, and probably can pass down quite a bit of money to to the next generation as well. So now here's the situation. I see some of you already typing some stuff. Let me see. So if you can suggest what would you do in this case, right? The known facts are all here. That's all I know too. And he did not disclose all of his IRAs, right? Now, of course, Hong suggested second to die policy. Yes. Of course, that is one of the conversation because one of the spouse is not in good health. The husband is, so that's a good way to protect them. And what else? What do you guys suggest? Okay, if you don't respond, I don't have much going on. Long-term care, Ivy suggested, right? For whom? For the husband? Yeah. Definitely. They don't have any long-term care for the wife. The wife is kind of hard because most long-term care would go under some underwriting, some health consideration, right? Annuity, yes, the wife has one. It's Allianz program. It's a 222 program existing at about 200K, right? Annuity for 2 life, that's very good. Yeah. John, can an annuity with 4K help with the wife? What is 4K? 4K? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Can you be more specific, Marilyn? Annuity with long-term care. Well, unfortunately, Athene used to put out a fixed annuity where they have confinement benefit, but they did away with that in California. No longer offer that, right? So somebody says 4K is not for California. So maybe in your particular state, you are able to offer care in a particular through a particular policy, maybe, but in California, unfortunately, there's no annuity that would come with any kind of long-term. Now, you could convert her annuity to some kind of care matter, right? But still, that will go through underwriting. There's a high chance that they may not, she may not qualify for any kind of long-term care product at all, because they're going to ask her a question. And I personally spoke to that lady, and she is mentally not there. Unfortunately, you can ask her simple stuff and she can respond. But if you ask her more complicated stuff, she would, point at her husband, and she would not know how to answer some of the stuff. Right? Yes, that is true. Some of the qualified money you can convert to some kind of care benefit in California, but still that person has to be in relatively decent health, unfortunately, right? So somebody says North American with nursing facility rider. I do not know about that. Maybe they still have it, but I don't think they have it in California. Joanne, so here's what I did in the first round, right? So the reason why I say solution step 1 is that as soon as you hear the husband have multiple IRAs, you already, raise a light bulb. There are many things that you could do for the husband, right? Wife has one program with 222. So this is what we did. This is a referral couple from existing SMD. And so the two of us work on this case together. The husband has a $400,000 also a let me see, it was also an Allianz program, right? It was one of the older Allianz product that also could get a income from it, but an older annuity that could be a 5 pay 10 pay or life pay, and with the annuitization of the money with that program. So what we did is I found out from Pacific Life, they have a really great product called Horizon EVCIUL. Okay, flexible premium index adjustable life insurance. I'll tell you why I choose that in the next slide. So for the wife, the husband said since she has an annuity and she's going to hit RMD because she is already 72 this year. So she has to take money out anyway. So what we did is we did some analysis. In fact, the other SMD did some analysis for this case that she could bring her 222 over to Athene with a bonus program. And all they have to do is wait 1 month to strike income. And that income amount with the bonus is higher than that of the 222 that she will get. So it's almost like a no-brainer when you show the number. Let's say normally they get $12,000 a year from the 222, and now she could get up to $14,000 and change per year for life. And of course, Athene also come with a death benefit. If anything happened to her, it would pass her money to the next generation or to the husband. Okay, either case. All right. If you have question, please post that on chat, and I'm going to go on. Why did I choose Pacific Life Horizon product for this? Because we could use a payout of a IRA, in this case, Allianz program, using that money. Of course, the tax portion the husband has to pay, right? But the guy owns a business. He probably has ways to manage his taxation in different form or fashion, right? And the premium, the distribution, you can use to fund a life insurance product. Remember, I said earlier, the husband is in relatively good health, right? Not that he can go out and run a marathon, but for a 71-year-old guy, it's really awesome to have great health, right? Because he needs to keep up that health to take care of the wife also. Remember, the wife doesn't really have any kind of long-term care program. So in a sense, the husband is the long-term care solution for her for now, right? Of course, now I'm going to go on and investigate if there are any other stuff we can do with an existing Alzheimer's situation the wife has, right? Now, number one thing is if you're able to use the premium paid by the IRA distribution, then you can get a pretty sizable death benefit right off the bat from the program. Now, remember, when you're taking distribution out from your IRA, you are taking distribution for the next 10 years, let's say. So you're not depleting the IRA altogether in one lump sum. So the money inside, I believe Allianz will still go on and invest your money. I don't know particular that program that he has because it's a much older annuity with Allianz. They don't even have that program anymore in the marketplace because he bought it, over 20 some years ago. Okay. Now, when he used the money to buy an IUL in this case, so we do a exact calculation. So the guy is going to take 10 years of income from his annuity, right? A 10-year pay, right? Every year is a fixed amount. And in fact, if he takes a monthly distribution, the amount total he get is actually higher, all right? I believe because the money is still working inside the policy. So if he takes a slower distribution, monthly distribution, that he can use that money to fund a life insurance program, right? It's a win-win for all because he will get a pretty sizable death benefit and ultimately will pay back the tax that he owe in the next 10 years, all right? So that's why I choose this product for him. Now, if you take a look at the illustration that Allianz put together for me, now, we use a strict number because at that point, I don't know exactly what the amount of money he has now. Now I do, of course, but when we ran the illustration, we just used 400,000 IRA. So if he takes a distribution of about $41,333 a year, right? Monthly payout. So he would pay about $10,000 to Uncle Sam, right? Because he hasn't paid money on this IRA money. So the net proceed of the money is about $31,000 a year. So if you divide it by 12, you get the monthly, right? So we just use the annual number to fund a life insurance for the next 10 years. And this guy will be able to get a death benefit right off the bat, $419,064. Now, that is the exact number we are applying for him for his IUL. And we are using exactly $31,000 a year to fund the IUL for the next 10 years, right? Now, of course, this program will cover his whole life, right? Pretty much up to, I don't know the number, maybe 105, 110 years old with the $419,000 death benefit. Now, right off the bat, he used $31,000 to fund the policy in year one. Now, remember, his IRA still remaining a pretty sizable amount inside, which is about $373,000, right? Left. So look at this coverage from year one. He can get coverage from the IRA. Whoops, sorry about that. And $373,000 remaining in his IRA. If he should pass, his family is going to get an inherited IRA of about $373,000. At the same time, the family will get $419,000 death benefit. So total, any year that he passed, he literally have $800,000 left. Of course, now as you go, his IRA will be depleted as we go, right? But on this side, it would not go down, right? The death benefit remains. Now, on top of that, this policy also carry a long-term care rider for the husband, right? Because the wife could technically no longer take care of the husband, right? So the husband need to figure out a way to take care of himself. And the only way is to get a policy with long-term care. Now, I am praying and hoping this case just submitted that he should get the coverage that he needed, assuming the health check is passing through with a green light. So that is the first step I did for the client. Yes, it is Horizon ECV IUL that I use. All right. So if you have question, please post it on chat if you're not able to talk. If you're able to talk, you're welcome to unmute. Now, I have a second case for you guys to discuss. And right after I give you the scenario, I'm going to break you guys into a room to talk about it. Please go ahead and take a picture of this. I'm not going to send this around, right? So I met with a family of 3 people, but 2 came to the office, right? There's a mother, 67-year-old, good health, no income, just recently got his green card, lived in the US for about 3 years now, right? The son, single on paper, but has a girlfriend, right? Early 30s, but he's a smoker. He has an internet business that generates about $1.5 million money. Now, after all the stuff that you have to pay out, you know, the cost of running the business and all that, he nets about 800 plus or minus a year. 32 years old guy making about $800,000. All right, so pretty amazing, right? So doing really good with his business. Very smart kid, right? And there's a girlfriend who also stay with them. 3 people living under one roof. They are in a rental house, right? A place they rented in the city. And the girlfriend does not work, but hope to run some kind of wine business. I don't know if you guys know this word called sommelier. All right. So So she worked as a she could work as a sommelier, but she want to go into some kind of wine business, right? And now these people are very business minded, and they do exceptionally well. Now, what would you do for this setup, right? This whole setup, and here's the discussion for you guys, right? Hopefully, you take a picture already, or pretty simple fact that you can remember. So now I'm going to stop the presentation mode and come back to the meeting. And I'm going to break you guys into a room for about 5 minutes or so. You can talk about it, right? Let me see if I can do it right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to break you guys. How many people we have? About 70. Maybe about 9 rooms. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Well, welcome back. You guys have fun discussing?
Yes.
Okay. Or you just sat in the room silent for the next, for the last 5 minutes? Anybody had that? Nobody talked? I hope not, right? So they're still coming back. Let me see. We have 56 people. Maybe we lost some people in the meantime. But anyway, all right. So can somebody talk or represent your group and speak up a little bit? We don't have much time, so maybe have a couple of you guys give me some solution. I haven't done it yet. So what would be your solution for this family? Anyone?
In my group, Victor was suggesting IUL for the son and the care matter for the mom.
Why care matter? Why not an IUL with long-term care?
Victor, you need to answer that. Of course, I mean, this is both are good and the mom is a good health too, right? So Victor, you want to share your thought? Did we lose Victor? Yeah, Victor's here. Victor Lee. You're muted, Victor. Okay, so yeah, I guess he may not be available. So yeah, I suggest that IUL also possible because it's good health. 67 is he mentioned it. 67 was a little bit higher age, but it's in good health though, right? So it definitely can try. Oh, Victor cannot unmute. That's why. Okay.
All right, no problem. That's all good solution, right? Do whatever you could. Maybe try IUL first, and then if fails, and go to care matters, right? So you can do different ways. I want you guys to sit back and think about it. If you have a family member that makes about $800,000 a year, is that person slightly lucrative or beyond your imagination at the age of 32? Right? So now my tone of voice and the subject matter, I change a little bit at that point. I don't have a whole lot of clients that make $800,000 a year. And the guy is not the first year making it. He's been making it for years, okay? So he has ample cash sitting in the bank, from the conversation that they're talking to them, right? So you need to think bigger than your normal thinking cap right off the bat, right? This is not a normal client that makes $150,000 in the Silicon Valley, living, comfortably, but still living on a pretty decent paycheck, right? So this is not a decent paycheck. This is it's beyond decent paycheck, right? So your thinking right off the bat is, where can I talk to him about investment? I'm not talking about a particular solution at that point. Now, of course, IUL, all that stuff, you guys do it every other day, right? So my conversation changed a little bit with them is about investment, right? We talk about, stuff that he normally would do. Now, a young guy like that may go out and play a lot of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or stock investment. But to my surprise, this guy does not do anything risky, okay? Which is good or bad, right? So the good is he's very, very protective of his asset, which is good. Bad, he doesn't really have an investment mindset, right? So now my conversation expands to, of course, this guy is a self-employed person. So the SEP IRA comes into the picture. He can technically put away 25% of his money into a SEP IRA right off the bat, right? Year after year after year. That's a pretty sizable IRA year after year after year, right? Think about 25% of 800,000. How much is that? Quite a bit of money, right? Close to $200,000 he can put away, right? Every single year as a self-employed person, up to 25. Now, of course, this, we need to talk to the CBA and all that stuff to make sure the numbers are correct. But that popped into my head. Investment topic popped into my head. I'm not selling IUL. I'm not selling long-term care. I talked to him extensively about investment for the first hour, right? To educate him, where would he pay the least amount of tax? Because when you make $800,000, your biggest worry is Uncle Sam is going to take a big portion of the money that you make, which he does, right? Uncle Sam never leave you alone, right? When you make 800,000, your taxation is probably up to 40%, something like that a year, without thinking about all the deduction that you can have, right? Now that is number one worry in that guy's head. You got to read your customer's mind as you talk to your customer. Don't just go out and sell IUL, right? You can do that in your sleep, I know, but set that aside, right? Put a bigger thinking cap on. So we go from investment of all kinds to SEP IRA to any kind of IRA to money protection because it's very safe with the money. Then now, of course, we of course migrate to a IUL, but the IUL conversation is not your normal $500,000, $250,000 policy, right? Right off the bat, I said multiple $1 million policy for this guy, right? Because he can have different vehicle to invest his money, right? So, and I show him not just the protection, I show him the growth of the money at that point. Now, when I run the illustration, I expect to close. But unfortunately, at this point, this guy said, I'm going to do some research, right? Come back to me and say, I'm going to do some research. And then I sent him my LinkedIn profile. I said, I've been doing research for the last decade for you already. So if you need any particular type of research, let me know. Let's sit down and do the research together, right? So long story short, the mother definitely can do an IUL because she's in really good health at the age of 67. No problem. And you say, wow, that IUL would be so expensive, right? Yes. But who cares when you make $800,000, right? Who is the beneficiary? If the son buys the mother $1 million policy, who is the beneficiary? Of course, the son, right? The son has all the capability to pay into the mother's policy. The annual premium for the mother is about $30,000, right? So no big deal. No problem at all. And the son, of course, I talk about multiple IUL policy and maybe a pet life with, the PDX2 with the multiplier and all that, right? You have so many product in your arsenal, in your product offering. Just don't think about one IUL, okay? Or one long-term care policy. That's all I have to say. Now, this case is not closed, but we're still in the conversation. Now, make sure you are guiding the client or the potential client through the process and have an ongoing conversation with them. If you sell one $500,000 IUL and you say, whoa, hallelujah, I win today. No, actually, you lose out big, cases beyond that. So don't have a conversation just on IUL and long-term care. That's all I have to say, right? Now, of course, you guys have great suggestion, care matter, long-term care, whatever. It's awesome. It's wonderful. But just think about your client situation. You put yourself in their shoes and think about what would you need? What would you be afraid of in this marketplace, right? So that's how I approach the case. You can tell me if I have other things that I'm missing because, we always have blind spot here and there. But think beyond your thinking cap is the lesson here with this case, okay? So that's all I have today. And I'm going to bring back my awesome leader, Jacky Tam, He always keep things simple, easy to learn. So, I learn from the best, and I carry out what I learned in the marketplace out there. So you guys should do the same. Let's turn the table back to Jacky.
All right. Thank you, John. That was awesome illustration and also case study. I hope you will learn something from it. And also it's always different. I mean, every family have a different need, right? Similar, but different, right? One thing I want to point out real quick, whenever that's a exchange or replacement, just be aware, okay? That's what John did a very intensive comparison, right, from Allianz to Athene, or from wherever to wherever. So make sure you do a great job in terms of what's the benefit, value added on it, right? So that they understood, they clearly accepted, like it, right? Before you do that, just a reminder, right? Because we definitely want to do a better job for them. And also some other, we represent a lot of different companies and providers. They are all having different features sometime, right? So just make sure you know it, and then make it simple and clear to the client, right? And before you proceed, okay? So that's the bottom line. Thank you, John. Awesome job. Now, here we go. I want to spend a few minutes, just really quick, to finish today's training, right? The year-end mindsets, right? Let's shift gear a little bit, right? You learn about the technical, whatever field training, whatever the case, right? But now, what is your mindset for year-end December 2022? For last month, right? To finish the year, what is in your mind? Okay. So number one, when you look back, you can learn what you had learned, what you have experienced in WFG. I'm talking about, in WFG, of course, you expand it to your life, in your business plan, in your life plan as well. But I'm talking about in WFG, what have you learned, right? For the last 11 months, did you grow, or did you, stagnant, or did you just flat? Or, I mean, internal basis, right? But look forward, you can act. To me, I told my team already, November 1st, last month was my new year for 2023. I want to prepare the big time for next year, 2023, right? And you want to do it one more time. That's the mindset. Yeah, whatever that you have to do, this business is a long term. You do it again and again and again. You don't get tired of it. You tell yourself, right, that you heard from Penny, the steer, right, the situation, and then the thought process, and then the emotion you got from it, and then the action that you take, and then the result, right? The steer, STEAR, right? So you want to put yourself into it. Okay, now here's the situation. What can I improve? What you may not do as well as you expected this year for some of the cases or some of the situation or whatever, but guess what? It's not the end of the deal. This is the long-term business. You're gonna do it again, one more time, one more shot, and this time you'll be doing much better, right? So now that's the year-end mindset. Now, for some of you, December could be the hardest month of the year. Now, I tell you that. I said the same thing, a couple of days ago in our team meeting. December, usually, a lot of people have fun. A lot of people will slow down in building their business in WFG. I can tell you that. And but you know what? You do not have to be one of them. You could be the one that think differently. You could be the one thing that this is the month I can catch up. This is the month I search, right? To win, okay, to win is nothing but what? You work while others are resting. You press on while others are relaxing. You go party with a mission while others just go to parties, have fun. That's the mindset that you need to have. For some of you, I know some of you already in a holiday mood, already preparing, right? Yes, there's nothing wrong with it. You should, just like I started the meeting today, you should have fun, celebrate Jesus Christ, right? Save the world, save us for eternal life and all that, right? If you have the faith, right? And then for the rest, and definitely also a joyful month, to enjoy family time and the holidays. But you know what, in terms of as far as the business concerned, the mindset of an entrepreneur, the mindset of a business builder, you want to win, then you still working. You go to parties so also, but with a mission, preparing for the big time next year. You get a few more numbers from the party while other people just having fun, chit-chatting, just just talk about anything, right? In life or for fun, whatever. But you prepare yourself and talk about the business, and that will make a whole world different. And that is just a suggestion for you. And because I'm doing it, I go to party as well. But now I'm gonna have, at least to me, my goal this month, I want to have 10 more brand new people. Well, not brand new, but new people, including those inactive team members. This is the best time I can reach out to them and say hi and greeting and all that. And we connect with them. Okay. So, hey, the holiday can work for you or work against you in terms of the business. You make that choice. All right. And the next couple of weeks, we are going to work with you on Mondays, right? Our team gonna responsible for the training. I will be here every Monday morning with you, and but different SMD or trainer with you. So we'll hope to see you. Let's build it. December, the hottest month in the year for you. Okay. Have a great one. We'll see you in the BPM. All right. Happy holiday. Merry Christmas to the rest of you. If I don't see you again. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now. Even you're muted.
Recording.